Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility. It's new release day here on the channel. We've got a brand new release, Nuclear Blast Records from the Gothenburg, Sweden melodic death metal legends, Inflames. The brand new album is called Foregone. Some of you may be surprised that I'm actually reviewing this because I've been a little outspoken over the more recent years about my kind of disdain for the last handful of albums from In Flames. This is a band that I like quite a bit, like in the early, mid, late 2000s. Listened to In Flames a lot, seen them live a number of times. They kind of hit a wall at some point, though, where their music started to become less interesting to me, and they seem to lose a lot of that spark that made them such a cool and groundbreaking melodic death metal band back in the 90s, right? So we're going to get into all that, though. So let's take a look at the album. Foregone, like I said, kind of interesting cover art there, right? Yep, a lot of tracks, 12 songs. Let's take a look at the booklet here. Jam-packed with more artwork and lyrics. I will say the lyrics are really small print. Not that easy to read. There are the guys in the band. There they are. I'm going to announce them all in a second. So we've had some lineup changes in Flames over the last bunch of years. So it's a bit of a different band more recently than we've known for many years. So, of course, you got the two founding guys, right? You got Bjorn Gelat on lead guitar. You've got Anders Frieden on vocals, right? Joining them since 2017. Bryce Paul on bass. You've got Tanner Wayne on drums. He's been in the band since 2018. And then just joining the band probably in, I think it was late 2019, but this is his first appearance on an In Flames record, is none other than guitarist Chris Broderick, right? Guitar shredder, formerly of Megadeth, formerly of Jag Panzer. He's done various other projects. He's a very capable guy. I think it was a really interesting choice to pick him for this band because, again, he's someone who comes from more of like a thrash and kind of power metal background, but a guy who knows his way around the fretboard and is considered like a really, really talented guitar player. So when I first heard that Chris had joined the band, I was kind of like, oh, that's interesting. Good for In Flames because In Flames have always had two really, really hot guitar players, and they always do, amidst their music, there's always lots of screaming solos and a lot of twin guitar interplay. So I was thinking, all right, well, he doesn't necessarily come from a death metal background, but interesting choice. So Chris Broderick joins the team, and he and Bjorn make a really good team on this particular album. So, my issue with In Flames is that, we've got this band that really did some classic albums back in their heyday. So I'm talking like, Jester Race, Horacle Colony, Clayman. Those are considered classics of the whole melodic death metal genre, and you might be asking, some people are like, well, what is melodic death metal, Pete? Well, it's basically a style of death metal, of extreme metal that came out of the Gothenburg, Sweden area. So we're talking about bands like In Flames, Dark Tranquility, At the Gate, Soilwork, where basically they're playing very aggressive death metal music with growling vocals, but the music itself is very, very melodic guitar solos. The riffs are less kind of brutal. Songs are very much incorporating elements of thrash and even sometimes speed metal. And there is this ability to occasionally mix in clean vocals from time to time. Right? So again, it's death metal, but it's very, very melodic and just a little bit different than your Florida death metal or the Swedish death metal bands, like the traditional death metal bands like Dismember and stuff like that, and certainly the Florida stuff, right? So thus became this whole movement. Well, right around like the early 2000, we started getting this kind of music, especially here in America, called metalcore, which again combined like elements of hardcore and extreme metal with like kind of emo style vocals and lots of melodic choruses and things like that. And before you know it, with like albums like Reroute to Remain and Soundtrack to Your Escape and Come Clarity, all of a sudden, like In Flames are just sounding like every American metalcore band out there, and a lot of those qualities that we loved about them so much were kind of disappearing. So they started releasing albums like A Sense of Purpose and Siren Charms and Battles, and just like and Sounds of a Playground Fading. And you listen to these albums and they're just not inspiring whatsoever, and they're not all that heavy. And a lot of like long time In Flames fans are just like leaving the band and just not following them anymore and just really losing interest. So this band really took a lot of shit from the extreme metal community for a number of years. So then when Foregone comes out, everybody's claiming, well, this is one of the best In Flames albums in years. And I would say, you know what? That is definitely the case. Is this absolutely perfect? No, it's not. But this is easily the most enjoyable In Flames album I've heard since Reroute to Remain. And that album had its moments, but you could see like where they were kind of going from there. And there's a lot of songs on here. Like I said, there's 12 tracks on here. And, most of the songs it's about just over 45 minutes long. Most of the songs are in the kind of like 3 to 4 minute range. There's nothing on here that's overly long. You got some really cool instrumental stuff going on here. You got the 2-part title track, which is really, really great. There are lots of big thunderous riffs. The solos are smoking. I mean, I think that's the whole key here. You've got some really, really amazing guitar work going between Chris and Bjorn on this album, which I think is that's the reason why to get this. It's like guitar-wise, there's a lot happening here. There's lots of big, heavy, crunchy riffs. There's some cool breakdowns on here. Most of the songs are fast and furious. They're very melodic. And Anders, like he's been doing for many years now, he spends a lot of time doing these kind of squeaky clean vocals. But there are plenty of growls on the album. In most cases, on many of the songs, he kind of mixes the two in there, which, is not uncommon. I mean, Dark Tranquillity does that to this day. Soilwork has been doing that for years as well. So, but these songs tend to come across a little bit heavier hitting and not as, I don't know, the last bunch of albums to me, it's like they're trying so hard to sound more accessible that I think that a good chunk of this album, they're just going back to doing what they do really well. Like End of the Transmission is really heavy, right? You got the nice mix of growls and the clean vocals. Neither one is overdone, which I kind of like. Like I mentioned, Foregone Part 1 and Part 2 is really, really good. Meet Your Maker is terrific, crushingly heavy. State of Slow Decay is really nice. I like the little acoustic instrumental, the beginning of All Things That Will End, right at the beginning of the album. It kind of sets the tone, and then boom, they just come bursting in. Pure Light of Mine is really good. The Great Deceiver also really crushing. That's track number 8. So I would say if you're going to pick out a couple songs on here to kind of highlight, to go investigate first, go check out The Great Deceiver, Foregone Part 1 and Foregone Part 2, End of the Transmission. Those are kind of my favorites, but also Meet Your Maker is pretty terrific. Are there a couple on here that just don't really go too far? Yeah, I mean, In the Dark, a dialogue in B flat minor, Cynosure, those are okay. They're trying a little too hard to be kind of accessible there. Pure Light of Mine is okay. So there's a couple tracks that are like, they're okay. But there are some that are really, really good. So for me, I'm enjoying this. I almost wasn't even going to bother with this because I've just kind of like basically written off In Flames. I usually check out their albums at least once, and I've been thoroughly disappointed time and time again for what seems like over a decade now. So when I started hearing all the positive press about this one and how it's pretty much a return to form, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and I'm going to check into this. Is it a 100% return to form? Not quite. But is this the best sounding In Flames album we've heard in a long time? Yes, indeed. Plenty of guitar firepower. The production's really good. I think Anders' vocals are produced very, very well. So when he's doing the growling stuff, you can hear and understand everything he's saying. When he's doing the clean stuff, if you're a big extreme metal aficionado, you're probably hearing the whole clean thing is probably like against all that you believe in, and I totally get that. But there's a good mix of both, which is really cool. So I would say if you've been a fan for a long time, you're gonna love this. If you've never listened to In Flames before, if you don't like extreme metal, you probably will hate this. So don't even bother. But if you're a love guitar music and love like smoking twin lead guitars and lots of cool riff-a-rama, and you don't mind a little bit of extreme metal vocals in your music, and you like catchy, like I said, they call this melodic death metal, but there's lots of thrash influences here as well. I would say give it a try. It's out now on Nuclear Blast Records. Foregone from In Flames. Is it a foregone conclusion that In Flames will continue to suck? I don't think so. I think this is pretty good. So as far as rating this, I'm going to give this kind of a conservative 3.5 out of 5 star. Don't think it's great. I think it's very solid. It totally does not suck. So there's more than enough to recommend on here. So, but again, it's 12 tracks, 45 minutes, just perfect enough, I think. And you guys be the judge. So go check it out and visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. So thanks for watching, everybody. I am Pete Pardo. We'll see you real soon. Hopefully, should have more stuff coming for you in the very, very near future. Till then, see you soon. Bye-bye.